and welcome everybody
to the Roll 2020, the Resilient Leaders.
I would like to say welcome.
Could you hear me well?
I can hear you well. I can't see you
Yes.
yet.
What I have just pointed out to you is only the tip of the iceberg.
How to say hello in a different language today?
We got a ni hao from Patrick.
I got a good day from Andrew, Australia.
Oh, good
Okay,
day,
good
mate.
day.
Good
Good
day,
day,
mate.
mate.
Love it.
All right.
And welcome, everybody. I'm very happy to be able to join Dr. Kitty Peng in welcoming you to this marvelous program. The Institute for Global Law and Policy at Harvard Law School, the IGLP, has collaborated with TIJ for several years now, and it's been an enormously rewarding experience for the faculty and the IGLP experts who've had the chance to get to know so many of your predecessors in this program. So let me thank our colleagues and friends at the Thailand Institute for Justice. After all, it was their vision, their commitment that made all of this possible. And I think speaking from the Harvard point of view, we should all be quite proud of the work that TIJ undertakes, their dedication to the rule of law, to improved policymaking, to stronger and more capable leadership here in Thailand and across the region. So let me give a special thanks to Dr. Kitty Peng, to his colleagues, Anuwan, the entire TIJ team, for all their support of the program and for their imagination in putting it together. Let me thank also Dawadi from KDC and her logistics team. We couldn't have coordinated this virtual space without them. Many thanks. In fact, it's quite amazing the way in which they put this remarkable program together during COVID time. So the IGLP was founded at Harvard in 2009 in response to the last global economic crisis. And our mandate was, as the name implies, to look at law's role in the world's most pressing policy problems in global terms. So we wanted to ask not only what international law and institutions in a very conventional way could do to respond to various policy challenges, but also, and more importantly, how national policy making is sometimes constrained or enabled by global arrangements, and how diverse national societies have succeeded or failed in grappling with similar problems. Most importantly, we're interested in law's role, both at the national and at the global level, not only in solving policy problems, but sometimes making them more difficult to resolve. Law not only as a solution, but potentially as part of the problem and the need for legal reform before policy problems can be appropriately addressed. And our task at the IGLP was also to look outside the North Atlantic to the challenges, solutions, and resilience of leadership across the developing world, or the global South, whose voices and experiences have very often been ignored, actually, I have to admit, by institutions like mine in the North Atlantic. So that mandate, the IGLP mandate, I think fits very well together with TIJ's very powerful commitment to the rule of law here in Thailand and in the broader region, and their commitment to building a network of leaders who can think creatively about law's many possible faces: problem solver, democracy guarantor, rights protector, as well as a powerful tool for political and economic forces that can be determined to make problems ever more intractable and society ever more divided. But the most important part of this program is not me or the IGLP or the TIJ, it's you. And you're an amazing group, carefully selected by our friends at TIJ for your leadership skills and potential. And I know in past years working with this program that the most important lesson has been the astonishing creativity of the colleagues brought together. So my hope for the next months is that you'll find in one another colleagues for life, allies in the defense of the very best governance and leadership practices wherever you come from. We've planned a great program for you this year, and I'm only sorry that we can't all be together in Bangkok, at least not yet. But working remotely has some advantages. We've been able to recruit some wonderful experts and faculty to share their experiences with you, both in the upcoming webinars and when we all get together in June. So let me say a few words about the program. For the webinars, we selected topics that would provide a diverse set of policy issues in which we can explore a range of global and local approaches. It's a diverse set of issues, each one of which has been affected by the COVID crisis, exactly in the reasons that Dr. Kittipong just elaborated. And so our goal is to provide a kind of overview of the range of possibilities and modes of analysis that the IGLP encourages leadership everywhere to take. I think the characteristic of our approach to these problems is to try to work with you to brainstorm alternatives, new ideas, heterodox thinking about some of our most important challenges. So let me give you a little overview. The next webinar on January 27th will focus on global governance and multilateralism, heavily affected by changes in the global situation recently, as well as by the efforts to respond to the COVID crisis and also the difficulty of responding to it. We'll have experts from Finland, from Canada, from the United Kingdom, from Australia, all joining us in those conversations. Thereafter, we'll take up issues that some of which are very local, criminal justice reform, that also have global and comparative dimensions. We'll have experts from Latin America, from Pakistan, elsewhere to work with you on criminal justice reform. Social justice, poverty and inequality, experts from South Africa, from Bangladesh, from the United States. And then we'll look in March directly at comparative regulatory responses to COVID. That webinar will be chaired by my colleague here at Harvard, Sheila Jesinoff, who has worked on a multi-country study of responses in the last year to the COVID crisis, joined by her colleagues from India and from the United States. We'll have a webinar on development, global production chains, the structure of global commerce today. Again, we saw how significant global production chains, their structure was, their vulnerabilities were in responding to COVID. We'll have a sociologist from the University of Virginia, experts from Scotland, from the United States, from Canada, thinking about the corporate structure and financial structure of global production chains as they affect our ability to respond to global problems. And then finally, labor, education, and the future of work, where we'll have experts from China, from the United States, elsewhere, thinking about the significance of automation, changes in patterns of work, in the balance of services and manufacturing and so forth, and what policymakers and resilient leaders can do to ensure that the people who are doing the work are productively engaged and appropriately remunerated. So those are the themes that we'll have looked at as examples of policymaking challenges. And then in June, we'll all get together with you in policy teams where you'll bring the problems that you have been working on to brainstorm them together with your colleagues, with mentorship from some of the experts who've been with us in the webinars, and others from elsewhere who've worked on those problems. So we'll have team leaders and mentors from the Philippines, Pakistan, Canada, Germany, South Africa, Chile, Argentina, United States, Albania, all working with you to understand how different countries have had the experiences that you have had or have had different experiences, and how those might be compared and how solutions could be understood and learned about from different places. Just in closing, I'd say the overall story of the IGLP TIJ webinar series is this, that for any policy problem, there's no one way that the challenge presents itself. Same as COVID, it presents itself in different ways, in different areas, in different countries, and so forth. And there's certainly no one best approach to its solution. The IGLP approach focuses on flexibility and continued comparative analysis to experiment, to adjust, to try different things, precisely the characteristics of the most resilient leaders. I very much look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months, and most crucially, just to standing by as you learn from one another. Many, many thanks. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the program this year.